Diplomats, judges, ambassadors, academics, and people from different professional backgrounds are gathered here today at the Peace Palace to celebrate the Fifth Asser Annual Lecture. In the past years, speakers covered various topics like international law and the far right, economic refugees in the eyes of law, international law in the Middle East, and ethics and cultures of institutions.
In these years of growing international tensions and attempts to reverse the embrace of multilateralism in international relations, we continue to focus on trust through international law.
For the annual Asser Lecture, we look for speakers who are more than expert international lawyers. We look for public intellectuals who dare and are able to address the questions of our time. For us at Asser, one of the most urgent of such questions is about the current populist moment in domestic politics and the distrust against international law and institutions.
Today, Professor Anne Orford is here to talk to us about international law and the social question.
So like many of his generation, Asser considered it his vocation to study the impact of commercial law on society. And one of the ways in which that impact was discussed was in the language of the social question. In this lecture, I want to put that social question back on the international law table in its more ambitious form. Not the form that asks, how do we look after the poor, but rather the form that says, how do we address the limits of the market in a democratic fashion? And this is because negotiators will argue, quite properly I'm sure, that relations with foreign powers are too subtle and delicate for publicity because that would weaken a government's negotiating hand. But that has extremely serious implications for democratic accountability and for parliamentary democracy when more and more issues are brought within the scope of these trade and investment agreements. So the take-home point here is that while I think international law is important, it can only be successful if it's embedded within and answerable to domestic politics.
Well, in my personal opinion, the annual lectures of Asser Institute is just a one-of-a-kind, a very, very important event that is held during the year. I myself am always looking forward to it because it brings the scholars from all around the world from different levels of professional experience. You see the judge of the International Court of Justice alongside with young international law students in one room, which is such an amazing ambience, of course, and intellectual environment to be in.
Not only in terms of being inside the room in the lecture, but also in terms of like the amount of people that I get to meet here from the institute itself, and also, other people that are in academia or professionals in the field. So it's really great.
The Hague attracts a lot of international lawyers. So this is a good meeting ground for people who are in public service, for people who are in the academy, and for people who are practicing lawyers to come together and exchange views on the contemporary issues that we're concerned with.
It stimulates my own research, it stimulates my teaching, and of course it's a great venue to interact with colleagues and friends who are interested in the same topic I am.
Well, the main highlight of today was that we should not stop trying to make the world a better place for everyone on it.